How you guys doing? Mr. Poestyle here. It's a beautiful day here in sunny PA, and I should be out here washing Vader. There he is, Vader. Oh, I should be, but instead, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to sit right here in my super messy garage, pretend that I'm outside doing something constructive on a beautiful sunny day in Pennsylvania. I'm going to talk about the very first video games that I had as a kid. My first video game lineup, my first system, what introduced me to home video games. So, I thought that would be a fun little thing to discuss here, show you what I have, still have from when I was a kid, and play them. Alright? Some interesting stuff here in my garage too, video game related, but just pretty much extra junk that I got in lots through the years. Check out this bad boy. Atari Touch Tablet. Actually, when I bought my Atari 5200 3 years ago off of a girl a couple towns over, this was in the box. I don't even have an Atari computer, but kind of neat. Maybe one day I will have one. I can try out the old Touch Tablet. It's pretty beat to shit and covered in dust right now, but a few other things she had in that box were split-second handheld game. I still haven't tried that out yet. Yeah, looks like we got some Atari 8-bit Stampede going on here. Maybe one day I'll get one of those 800s, 400s, XEG, whatever, and play these. But yeah, I have all video game crap laying over there. I bought my 5 billionth 5200 controller. Actually, I haven't got around to fixing this one yet. And there was also some kind of light gun in the mix. But whatever. Neither here nor there. Without further ado, we'll get to my very first home video game lineup as a kid. What got me into video games. And maybe you'll remember something. Let me know what you have. And here it is. This is my original 4-switch Woody that my parents got for us for Christmas back in 1982. And this is the original lineup of games. Now, right now, I have it sitting here, my 2600, just as a display. I have several other 2600s to play now. I have a light sixer down here that a friend gave me a few years ago. I fixed it up and it works. I use that most of the time. I have a 7800 that I play a lot of my 2600 games on too. And also, I'm sorry, my game room is really a mess right now. I have the Video Arcade 2. I've used a few times, just kind of got it for the collection, but I gotta say I do love it. I love the controller for this thing. And I have a Vader sitting here buried. Actually, as you can see, looks like there's a pin missing on the Player 2 port. I'll fix that up one of these days, but the system does work. There's my Fairchild. Like I said before, sorry I got a big mess here, but in my game room I need to fix up. There's one of my PS3s underneath. There's my Odyssey 2, my Dreamcast. There's my Genesis 2 with the Sega CD and the 32X. My 5200, my Super Nintendo Mini, just chucked on there. My NES Mini, my ColecoVision and television with the voice. Big frickin' mess is what I got going on here. There's my Nintendo 64. There's my Saturn, the Japan model. There's my PlayStation 1. And somewhere around here, I actually just put away as my GameCube and my Wii U. Got a Wii U, got the Wii upstairs, got my Retron 77 upstairs, my PS4 upstairs, my Nintendo Switch upstairs. Did I say Wii? My Wii's up there. Really bad. Need to clean this up. Actually, I'm off from work right now. My family and I have the COVID. So this is a perfect time for me to clean this mess up. There's my Sega Master System. There's my original Nintendo from my childhood. My NES, buried behind a bunch of crap. Famicom games sitting there. Got my my TurboGrafx sitting here. Super Nintendo. Unfortunately, that's not mine that I got in '92. I sold mine with all of my games, so then when I started collecting again about 5 years ago, I bought another one. The only thing that I did keep back then were my original PlayStation, my Atari, and my NES and all of their games. I actually sold off my first Genesis and my first Super Nintendo and all the games, and I really wish I hadn't. So now I'm trying to collect them again. But like I said, it's a huge mess right now down here. But I just thought I'd show you some of the stuff I'm working with here. I have a PlayStation TV somewhere. Then we have some handhelds, Game Boy Color, the Vita, Game Boy Advance, stuff like that. This wasn't supposed to be a game room tour, but hey, why the heck not? There's my Zelda Christmas ornament from Hallmark that came out last year. There's my Hallmark ornament of the NES that came out last fall as well. Then I also have lots of plug-and-plays. You got your Pac-Man here, and I've got a lot of the little Genesis plug-and-plays and stuff as well. But this is my original Atari 2600 4-switch Woody that my parents bought for us back in Christmas of '82. And this is the original lineup of games we got that Christmas. And this was my introduction to home video games for us. Now, I did play an Atari 2600 at a Cub Scout meeting. I think the very first game I played there was actually, let me see if I have it sitting out, Spider-Man. We were waiting for the meeting to start at Cub Scouts, and the Den Mother's kids had an Atari 2600. And I think we actually played it on a black and white TV at their house. But it wasn't until about a year later that we got this system. And, you know, it came with Pac-Man. My parents bought this at Fisher's Big Wheel, was a store back then. Now, in that location, has for the last 30-some years, has been a Big Lots store. Fisher's Big Wheel is long gone, but the store's still there. My brother that's 2 years older than me, they bought him Defender. That was his first Atari game, and here I have it now. My oldest brother that's 4 years older than me got Pitfall that year. A family game my parents just picked out for the hell of it. They didn't know really anything about video games. Haunted House, because my dad loves October, he loves Halloween, he loves scary stuff, so they picked Haunted House. Combat also came with it. So Combat and Pac-Man, some kind of deal at the time that my parents got that came with the system. And my very first game was Stampede by Activision. I had a lot of fun with this. I was only 9 years old. I said video games at home were new to me. I hadn't played many cabinets anywhere at all. We didn't have any arcades close by. I think the very first arcade cabinet game that I played was Crazy Climber back then. And then, of course, Burger Time, local eateries. I think it was a Winkies near us, burger place that had Crazy Climber. Our local movie theater for years had Spy Hunter. We played that all the time. That Fisher's Big Wheel, once it became Big Lots later years, NES years, they had Rampage. I fell in love with that game there. The local bar that also served food, we would have pizza there every Friday when I was a kid. They had Mr. Dew's Castle. I thought that was an awesome game. Several other games through the years came in and out. Our Pizza Hut had different games that came in and out. But this was my first 2600 lineup. This is the actual system. I want to say about 10 years ago, my parents were cleaning up their house. They were going to get rid of this. They were going to throw it out. And I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so I was the last person they came to see if I wanted it. They asked my sister. She wasn't interested in the Atari. My 2 older brothers said no, and they asked me. They said, we're going to pitch this. Do you want it? Heck yeah. Yeah. So that got me collecting again about 10 years ago on the 2600. I had my Nintendo with me the whole time. I took it with me through the years, all of its games, but the Atari was in their basement. They were going to toss it. and I'm really glad they didn't. Now I have hundreds of games that I've collected now in the last 10 years for it. But yeah, Pac-Man, Stampede was my game. Defender, Pitfall, my oldest brother's game. Haunted House, and Combat. They really didn't get one for my sister at the time. I think she was a sophomore in high school. She didn't really care as much, although she did have friends over and played Pac-Man at the time. And to us at the time, like I said, we didn't have any local arcades. We knew what Pac-Man was. My brother ended up getting the Pac-Man Fever record album. But we thought this Pac-Man version was just fine, and I still do. I still like it. It's still Pac-Man to me. I may have played it in an arcade cabinet before, but I don't think I did. Because in 1982, I was 9 years old. We were a little late to the Atari by that point. I knew kids that had them, maybe tried them out here and there, didn't think much. I didn't fall in love with it until we had it in our house. And I was hooked come that Christmas on. And I didn't even ask for it that year. It was probably my brothers asked for the Atari that year. They're a little bit older. They had friends that had them. So I don't remember how that came about. I do have one picture from that Christmas of my two older brothers with it. I'll try to put it up here if I remember. My parents weren't great on taking pictures or getting the film developed back in the day. They would take pictures for holidays and then never got it developed. So there's probably only a couple pictures around. I think there's one of me and my brother that's 2 years older than me, maybe playing Stampede on this. The other picture that I have is my two older brothers when they opened it up. And it was supposed to be a thing where we all opened it up. I'm not in the picture. I was probably playing with some Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back action figures probably, or He-Man at the time. I was more obsessed with that stuff. But like I said, once we got that Atari fired up and playing, I fell in love. We just started swapping games with friends all the time, buying games when we had extra money. We had paper out. We would save our money, birthday money. We were buying video games for quite a while after that. And then that all kind of stopped, too. At some point, between 82 and 85, probably, it just kind of, we played a lot outside with our friends, did a lot more of that kind of stuff. So, video games are just kind of, for me, yeah, if I went to see a movie, Ghostbusters or something at the theater, I was playing Spy Hunter arcade cabinet. But home video games at that point kind of, We had buddies that lived off the road. Their mother didn't allow them to have home video games. They talked her into letting them get an Apple II computer, I think, and kind of tricked her because they ended up with games on that, and we would sneak in and play those ones, whenever their mother wasn't around. But they weren't allowed to have a console. So that was Christmas of 82, Christmas of 86, when I got the Nintendo. Boom. There's my Nintendo. I said I hadn't played video games at home for probably a couple years at that point. And it was like, I walked into our local Kmart, which just closed about a year and a half ago. I was walking back through the electronics department, and there was a Nintendo sitting there in the display case. And I saw Kung Fu, and I was like, just blown away by these graphics. He's like, whoa, what is this system? Looks way better than Atari. So then I was on my parents from that moment forward. All of fall of 86, I really want this Nintendo. And they bought that. That was my gift just for me. So that Nintendo right there was my system. I got that, Kung Fu, and of course it came with Super Mario Brothers. And that started a whole new level of gaming for me. Nintendo was just awesome. But there we have it. Trying to think the best way to play this now. I'll probably play them on my Retron 77 upstairs because I can get that room a little darker. It's really bright out and sunny out today. I'll probably get nothing but a reflection on the old CRT down here if I play these games right now. So, let me gather up my original lineup of games and take them up to my Retron and fire them up, play a little bit of each one, and then we'll discuss. Oh, here we go. First and foremost, Combat. Classic Combat. Everybody loves Combat, right? Well, let's get it fired up here. And I'm the only one right here playing right now, so it'd be better if I had my son down here right now playing with me, but yeah, he's busy. But we all know combat. And I'm sucking at it right now. Again, I'm playing on my Retron 77, so sorry to you purists out there that love to see it on CRT. It's just a little too bright down in my game room right now. I don't have blinds for my block windows down there. But this is the original cartridge. Still playing fine on an all-new Retron. And I'm not going to play any of the other game modes. I'm not going to really mess around too much here with it. But Combat, #1 game. Probably the first one we actually put in the system. Remember that much now. I was 9 years old then. I'm almost 48 now, so can't remember exactly what order we played these in. Alright, let's see what else we got. We'll fire up Pac-Man on the 2600, the game everyone loves to hate. And the only thing people like to hate on more is E.T., which I still think E.T.'s a fine game too, if you know what you're doing. You have the instruction manual, you know what you're doing. We had hours of fun with this Pac-Man, so I know the die-hard arcade Pac-Man people are still butthurt and pissed about this game to this day, but buckwheat, it's the greatest. Man, when else did Pac-Man yell buckwheat after he ate a ghost monster? Nowhere else other than the fabulous Atari 2600, the VCS. Oh, I missed them all. Used to be a glitch you could do if you went in and out the side doors, which were the top doors on the 2600. You used to be able to slide the whole way down through the screen. I don't know if I can get it to do that now. We used to do it all the time just because we were bored as kids. I can't seem to get it. You would slide from top to bottom or whatever. The Pac-Man fever driving me crazy. And it's not the right aspect ratio, and the purists are going out of their minds. Get the vitamin. I think that's what the instruction book called that. Ah! No vitamin for me. Can I get it now? No! Did I get it? Nope, didn't get it. Buckwheat! Maybe he's saying F you. F you. F you. Give me the vitamin. Give me the vitamin. Oh. vitamin. Oh, my mind is gone, so I'll be back tomorrow night. All right, time for some haunted house. It's the scepter. Now, you can't get killed when you get the scepter. What's this? Here we go. Twilight Zone time. Looking around, looking around. Oh, yeah. Haunted House. That is fun. No, that's such a great game. Love that one. Bastard. Oh, I hit the jump. Liars. I hit the jump button. Cheaters. That was Pitfall. What an awesome game. Whoops. Sorry, buddy. Jim! Oh! Slippery. Sorry. I love you. I was robbed. And the final game, which was the last one played on that Christmas morning because I am the youngest, I had to go last. Stampede. No! Oh, bastard. Ah, cheater. Get up there. Yeah, yeah. Ah. That's And that was it. That was the original lineup of games, and I still love each and every one of them. And Defender is a lot more fun than I remember, too. But, yeah, Stampede, Combat, of course, Pitfall, Pac-man. Yes, Pac-man's a great game on the 2600. Good times. Haunted House. Wonderful. So, what are your thoughts? Do you still have your original lineup of games from whenever you were a kid, your very first system? Whether it was way back in the day, was it a Pong system? Was it Atari 2600 like mine? Maybe you didn't start collecting until recent years. Maybe it's a GameCube. Maybe it's a Wii. Maybe it's a PS4 or a PS5. Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested. I want to hear your stories. Do you still have your original games? Do you still own them? Or are you going to collect them again if you don't still own them? If you're a YouTuber, feel free to make a video in response to this. I would love to see, I can't post pictures here, but I would love to see videos of your old video games. I'd like to see you play in your first lineup of games that you had. Maybe it was Super Nintendo with Super Mario World, one of my very favorite games of all time, by the way. That was the only game I got my senior year of high school, Christmas of '91. I got my Super Nintendo, and the only game I had that whole Christmas vacation was Super Mario World, and I still love and play that game to this day. I think it's the greatest. But let me know. I would hope to see some responses from other YouTubers. Now, I'm a very small channel. I have 40 subscribers, maybe. Actually, the other day, I think it said 42. Now it went down to 40, so 2 people probably said, F you, we're out of here, which I don't blame them. I don't make videos very often. I try to when I get a chance, if I can come up with something. But hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You don't, give it a thumbs down. Tell me why I suck. I already know most of the reasons. But let me know. And hopefully some YouTubers out there or anybody will do a video response. Put it in the comments below, the link to it. I would love to see what your first lineup of games were. What turned on and what started that magic for you? What made you fall in love with home video games? Do you still have them? Do you still play them to this day? Do you share them with your kids like I do? My kids love this stuff. Recent years, this first lineup, like I said, my parents bought for us. They were not video gamers. When they bought this for us, they were probably in their late 30s. Now they're in their, mid 70s. They didn't care about anything that came after this. They, video game wise, they didn't play, didn't touch, didn't watch us play, watch me play my NES after I got that in '86, my Super Nintendo. They didn't care about any of that stuff. And really, they hardly played anything on the Atari 2600 at all, the old VCS there. Now they did. My dad's younger sister lived out of state. She used to come back and visit over Christmas, and they still talk about to this day. Like I said, they're in their 70s. They did play Haunted House. They loved Pac-Man, Haunted House, and Stampede. Those were the 3 games that they loved and would play all the time. Nothing else. They said nothing newer than that. They didn't care. Actually, my dad and mom didn't really watch hardly any television either. Most of the time it was, you guys get the hell outside and go play, go do something, which we were happy to do. We were outside 80s kids. We played with our buddies. We ran around through the woods. We played in the fields, pick up games of football and baseball and stuff. But still loved it on a rainy day, come in and play Atari. My dad actually put rules in place when we first got our Atari that we had a half hour each. I was the youngest, so my half hour was last. So you had my sister, my oldest brother, my other brother, then me. And you had a half hour to play, and that was it. You were done. You were off of it. You were outside. Or you were playing a board game or something if it was a rainy day, or watching cartoons or whatever. But they weren't big into them. But a few years ago, I did buy them the Flashback 9 to have for their grandkids. They got a lot of grandkids now. I bought them a Flashback 9, whichever one takes the SD card, and I put pretty much all the Atari ROMs on for them, just to have at their house. And I was surprised to find out that they were playing it. They were playing Stampede again. They were playing Pac-Man again, and they were playing Haunted House again. My brother went up there, and they were playing it one cold day, wintry day. And actually, they discovered a few other games that they had never played before. Now, we did have a bunch of games, like I said, that they never even bothered trying. But in those recent years, they discovered a few new games that they actually sit and play together right now. At, what, 74, 75 years old, my mom and dad are sitting there retired. It's a cold day. They can't get around. They're playing Atari 2600. They're playing Stampede. They're playing Pac-Man. You know, they're playing Haunted House. And I think that's really cool. Really funny that they started playing these old video games again after I bought the system. Because like I said, I really kind of bought it for the grandkids and the kids to play when they came to visit. My parents didn't have any video game systems left at the house. But, yeah, they're having a good time playing that now. And I think that's pretty funny. But, again, let me know what your first lineup of games was. What was your very first home video game? Where did it come from? Is there a story behind it? I want to know. And again, if you're a YouTuber, make a response video. That would be great. Play those games in the video or show them to me if you still have them. Maybe you had to get rid of them at some point or they disappeared for some reason, but you've collected them again. Let me know. And again, thanks for watching. I know I rambled on and on and on and on and on and on and on here, but hey, I got an excuse. I got the COVID. I don't know what's going on. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.